When most people hear the name Medusa, they picture a monster with snakes for hair, someone so terrifying that a single glance could turn you to stone. But the real story of Medusa isn't just about a monster, it's about beauty, power, punishment, and injustice. And once you hear the full myth, you'll realize Medusa's story is far darker and more tragic than you were ever taught. Medusa wasn't always a monster. In early Greek mythology, she was once a beautiful mortal woman, known for her striking hair and appearance. She served as a priestess of Athena, goddess of wisdom and war, and had taken a vow of chastity in Athena's temple. Unlike her immortal Gorgon sisters, Stheno and Euryale, Medusa was fully human, meaning she could age, suffer, and eventually die. And it was this vulnerability that would seal her fate. According to later versions of the myth, most famously told by the Roman poet Ovid, Medusa caught the attention of Poseidon, god of the sea. What happens next depends on the version, but in Ovid's telling, Poseidon assaults Medusa inside Athena's temple. This act wasn't just violent, it was sacrilegious. Athena's sacred space had been violated, but instead of punishing Poseidon, Athena turns her wrath on Medusa herself. Athena curses Medusa, transforming her beauty into horror. Her hair becomes writhing snakes, her gaze becomes deadly, anyone who looks directly at her turns to stone. Medusa is banished to a distant land, isolated from humanity. Once admired, she is now feared. Once protected by the gods, she is now abandoned by them. The curse doesn't just change Medusa's appearance, it erases her identity and turns her into a symbol of terror. Over time, Medusa's story shifts. The victim becomes remembered only as a monster. Heroes speak of her as a threat that must be destroyed, not a woman who was wronged. Medusa lives alone, surrounded by the stone statues of those who crossed her path. Whether they came to kill her or simply wandered too close, they all met the same fate. By now, the world has forgotten who Medusa used to be. Enter Perseus, a demigod sent to kill Medusa as part of a deadly quest. The gods arm him with divine tools, a mirrored shield from Athena, winged sandals from Hermes, and a sword capable of cutting through her scales. Using the reflection in the shield, Perseus avoids her gaze and decapitates Medusa while she sleeps. From her severed neck emerge Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, children conceived with Poseidon. Even in death, Medusa creates life. Medusa's head retains its power and is later placed on Athena's shield, the aegis, used as a weapon against Athena's enemies. Ironically, Medusa becomes a symbol of protection, warding off evil, even though she was never protected herself. Over centuries, Medusa has been reinterpreted as a symbol of rage, injustice, survival, and feminine power, a reminder of how myths often rewrite victims into villains. The real story of Medusa isn't just a monster myth. It's a tragedy about punishment without justice, power without accountability, and how history decides who gets remembered as a hero and who gets labeled a monster. Sometimes, the darkest stories aren't about the creatures with fangs and snakes. They're about the gods who created them. If you enjoyed this darker take on mythology, like, subscribe, and comment below. Which myth should we uncover next? This is 5-minute takeaways, where legends, history, and stories are explained fast, deep, and honestly.